we talked about the ahead of the curve mount thing?
No, we never did. Because it happened so fast.
And then it unhappened.
It unhappened, yeah. It happened and then it got shot. No, but the drama. I don't know if anyone... Obviously, a lot of people cared. But now that it's over, I was like, we're tired. We're tired. So, for anyone who is not familiar with the story, over the weekend it was data mined that the Kor'kron Warwolf, the head of the curve mount from Siege of Orgrimmar, which was approximately 40,000 years ago by my count.
9 and 2/3 years ago.
9 and 2/3 millennia ago. Yep, sounds about good. So it had been given a trader's tender cost.
September 2012, 11, 12, fuck.
That was
13. 13, yes.
Yep. Yeah, shut up. I don't like to know that. So it was given a tender cost of like 7,899, which is way more than the placeholder and also like insane. So everyone, okay, whatever, fine. But it was the first curve mount, and it was in normal mode, which, if you keep World of Warcraft's ever-changing difficulties in your head correctly, you will remember that that's basically LFR. Because Heroic became normal, and then Mythic became Heroic, and then they added Mythic on top.
Yeah.
So everyone's sitting there going, so this was a head of the curve mount that was going to be on the trading post. All of your skill. If you were in one of the 32.8 thousand guilds that got it, according to NetStalker, thank you for the information, then your incredible achievement of logging in that day and finding a group would be made null and void by the fact that people who play the game now would be able to get it on the trading post for however many tenders it was liable to be there if they actually were going to be there. But it was not to be, thankfully. Thankfully, maybe not thankfully, depends on your opinion on it. But Kyvax, I believe it was Kyvax, turned around and went, we'll dispel this rumor. We have no plans to offer mounts or skill-based prestige rewards from things like Cutting Edge, Ahead of the Curve, Gladiator, in the trading post. Not going to happen. And like Blizzard, as soon as they say things, we're like, yeah, spot on. That's it.
Yeah.
We'll never do that. We will hold our minds on this forever, which was the notorious weak point of the community. But ultimately, you do have to kind of take them for you do have to take them at the face value and say they don't plan on ever doing that because people were very, very mad.
Some people were then very, very mad against them. I would say almost to an unhinged level. There's a lot of unhinged on both sides with this one as I saw it. Ahead of the Curve is not the most dramatic or prestigious example of this principle. I think most egregious example would be Gladiator mount. Just because that is such a lower percentage thing. Or just, Ashes of Valar or a Mythic Raid mount. Or, a reskin of a Mythic Raid mount. I think that's not right.
Yeah, so we're kind of thinking about it. And obviously going through, why has this been talked about? Why has this been moved around? Stuff like that. So we see Pandemonium time running, maybe?
Yeah.
Because Panda, Siege of Orgrimmar was in Pandaria. Maybe we could do that. As well as, obviously we've got the Garrosh heirlooms have been data mined as well from there. So you go, removed items. Could be that. That could be it. So, and then Holly's a little... Oh, yes, that's right. Holly's could it be even better than that? You're like...
Yeah, because they were speculating.
Why are you asking us, Holly? You fucking know. Jesus Christ alive. But yes. So obviously, this was a poll that Wowhead runs saying, with the Kor'kron being data mined as a trading post item, how do we feel? Would you prefer all collectibles have a chance to be obtained or keep them? And 8.9% of players went allow all of players. Of the 25,000 people who voted this poll, which is a pretty small subset. 19% depends on rarity and 21.5% allow none. Which is kind of interesting because I would definitely fall into the depends on rarity camp, I think. Because that's the camp that goes, I will have no strong principle but this, because it's whatever. Obviously, people have a lot of reason to say allow all, because they say, I can get the thing now.
I want more things, yeah.
Yeah, I want more things, so I can have more things now, which obviously works because you're going to look at a couple percentage have a thing, or I think someone said 13% of accounts have the Kor'kron Warwolf, or character, sorry, based on Wowhead scanning, which is obviously very inaccurate a lot of times because it doesn't have a whole picture of people. But you go, okay, well, there's, you can see, well, if 13% have it, then 87% are likely to go, well, I would like it, please give me that, assuming they value it. So you can kind of see that's where that came from. But there's also the 21.5% allow none. And you go, well, why allow none? And obviously the point is people actually think that if you complete a thing, even if it's 1,000,000 years later, or more accurately 9 and a bit, or close to 10, then you're actually at that, okay, well, I would like the thing that I did that took effort 10 years ago to still matter 10 years later. I don't want it to be, I did it for a bit and now it's not special anymore. Especially when I think people also consider that time itself is an investment and worth having. So older things are worth more. Because to be frank, I actually still do a little bit of a double take anytime I see anyone with a Hand of Adal title. I'm just like, damn, nice.
Yep.
And those are like things that are recognizable are kind of rare to me as well.
Context, that's TBC.
Yeah.
TBC rating.
Yeah, if you didn't get it then, too bad. Which I think is cool. So there's an awful lot of people having opinions on this. Of course, is FOMO great or not? Net soccer. That's you can't. Different things. Different,
in a way,
different
like
cases.
FOMO is involved, but it's only a challenge during that period of time anyway.
Yeah, it's different to say say the Mage Tower when it went up was like this is up forever. Then it would still be that thing of there's no FOMO attached to that. It's still a challenge. But for these, it's a kind of, well, you can't keep the challenge equal. So you kind of have to, for sensible purposes, well, this is the current content. Do it now. You don't get this thing again. You're like, well, whoops. That's kind of how it is. I think it's fairly complicated. And I'll talk about it a little bit more as we talk about the Outland Cup as well. And it disappearing into the ether as the cup tends to. But there's certain things of like, they're very, very important to have, but it's basically putting one person's achievement versus another person's ability to have things or get things, which is ultimately the issue, I think, which is kind of a challenge to consider because it is just pitting different people's incentives against each other. There's no one principle to rule them all. You could have like an idea of what do you think is going to be better, what do you think is going to be make the game better on aggregate. And I think having some chase things is probably fine. Like I think having Gladiator be this, well, you were good in this season, so you keep this forever. I think that's like kind of non-negotiable in a bunch of ways because that's the done thing across the industry. So yeah, sure, fine, whatever. But and same with the head of the curve. It comes down to it being set up front to me more than anything else. I would be a little bit like come on, that's a bit unfair. If I did something because it was going away, and then it later came back, I'd be like, that doesn't feel nice. But how many people would have a better experience over the end of it later? Like,
I'm looking at this choice selection of tweets and everyone comes off way more stupid than they probably are.
Yeah, everyone's the same here.
It's actually incredible.
So we'll go through. Obviously, Flex says, after reading through a few threads, my fave take is people is diminishing super hard achievement when we're talking about amount that's boosted with a 10 boosters, 15 buyers ratio at least. Now, I have no idea if that's true because I wasn't playing the game to that extent at this time. I played with a guild, didn't read anything online of the game.
Yep.
I enjoyed it the best I ever did back then. Yeah, and that's another point is slippery slope glad mines could be next. That's the part where I've noticed people online are very good. I've gotten very good at thinking in principle, but in like such an unbelievably one-dimensional moronic way that people go, slippery slope? What if they come from my glad match next? And you go,
what if I just stop thinking?
Yeah, and you go, well,
it's a fucking difference.
Well, are head of the card mounts and gladiator mounts the same? Are they? No. They do share one property. And that property is only available for a skill-based achievement during the current content. That's the property they share. There's an awful lot of other properties they share.
Object-oriented programming, actually, so that people know how to fucking think. The amount of times where I'm just like, wow, why don't we just teach the normies how to code? Maybe then they'd get them like, this, that. No.
Yeah, it's like...
Angry.
Banana, fruit, spot on. Apple, fruit, spot on.
Banana and fruit are the same.
But apples and bananas...
banana and apple are the same.
Yeah, but bananas and apples are not the same thing, unfortunately. Unfortunately for your argument. So yeah,
Yes.
that's like race changes and class changes in the shop. That's a good point, I think, from Flex. To people who boost do all kinds of content and have instances. Bad people who were not good enough get the prestige award for free. I kind of see that if it's literally like, because boosting's kind of weird because it's not really allowed. Sort of it is, but it isn't, but it is, but it is. And you kind of you feel it operates because there's no way the ahead of the curve achievement exists in a world where boosting is like there's a little bit of sticking the head in the sand when it comes to putting ahead of the curve in, because everyone knows you can just fucking boost it. So it's like, how much do you take that into consideration? How much do you take boosting into consideration when you're thinking about these from Blizzard perspective, versus how much do you go, well, boosting happens, we have to
Well, yeah, but the thing
respect
is,
it,
like, it's like, sure, you bring up the boosting thing.
yeah.
Not everybody boosts.
Yeah.
So that's completely irrelevant to a large sample of the people. So you don't just, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so that's the thing where, yeah, makes sense. It's like old stuff being accessible again is nice. It doesn't devalue your accomplishment. It does. It doesn't in the totality, because obviously, like Zero says, there's a dated receipt. But you're like, I'm on this thing. People don't compare your achievements to check. They see you're on the mount and go, got the mount, must be good. Mount is now free for shitters. Got the mount, can't tell if you're a shitter or not. Like,
definitionally devalued.
Yeah, it's like,
it is like factually devalued.
Yeah, there's this.
And I'm not saying that with any, this is good, this is bad. But no, it's like, this was a thing that was available for doing this thing back then. Now, more people can get it via another means. It's literally devalued.
Yeah.
There's more supply now.
Yeah, what I was saying about people thinking on principle is people just cherry pick parts of something to think about, and they don't think about, like, what's the actual real experience as a whole here. I think that's kind of what the problem is. Like, in the end, you're just gatekeeping. Gatekeeping fucking what? Hello? Fuck me.
Gatekeeping is a word that people use on the internet. There you
People
go.
don't fucking gatekeep enough, probably. Tell you that. Tell you that for
That's
sure.
very problematic.
Yeah, I'm very
There's
problematic.
a whole like discussion around that, because it's like,
yeah, I know, and I'm firmly on one fucking side of it.
am I going to say, am I pro gatekeeping? No. Am I pro not diluting everything so that everything is appealing and super easily approachable to everyone, therefore meaning that everything is just fucking dishwater now?
If you don't like my thing, fuck off.
Yeah, don't change the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't come into anything I do or like and try to change it, or I will fucking throw you out myself. That's it. Even when, because anyone comes in with even that mindset, like, you basically drip feed. You drip feed things in, and that's what gatekeeping isn't. This gate never fucking opens. The point of a gatekeeper is your sign on you. Your sign. I don't like the fucking cut of your jib.
Yeah, can you
I
imagine?
don't like the cut of your jib.
Can you imagine just like going to a club, you don't get it, you're like, you're gatekeeping me!
Yeah.
On the internet, this is a very powerful sentence that I can use to defeat you. And the bouncer's like, move along.
It's like you're wearing shorts and sandals and a fucking, no shirt. Out you go.
How do they deal with that? Now that people are wearing Crocs.
Also,
If Crocs are cool, can you wear Crocs into the club?
Yeah, it's over for them. Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
people clear. All FOMO was bad. Not true.
No,
all
that's
time
a
trading was
big-
bad. Not true. Trading post talking good shit is bad.
Fair? Take
Yeah,
that.
fair. AOTC been too easy is bad. Not one cutting edges there.
Ahead
technically
of the curve is no longer what it was. That we can
Yeah.
agree on.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Boosting is bad, agree. Buying gold is bad, agree. Neglecting old content is bad, agree.
Neglecting old content is. I can't say it's.
Well, okay, no, yeah.
It's not bad. It is a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity. That's it.
But of course, as we know, Matt, as we discussed, how banana and apple are both fruit, therefore banana and apple are identical. Well,
Let's imagine WoW is a martial arts dojo. All right. We're off to a good start. The dojo is struggling to get new members, so the plan is to just give attendees black belts for showing up. I mean, I understand the point. It's just that the point is completely wrong and that doesn't apply at all. Because, like, dojo giving people black belts would devalue the black belt. Yep.
yeah.
100%. It would make no sense. Correct. it would also bring people in. Definitely true. How's that anything to do with it ahead of the curve mount? How's it a black belt? What? You can go get a black belt now with enough effort. Like,
it's like, hey,
yeah, that's.
I have a Kor'kron Warwolf. Be like, oh shit, he's dangerous.
Yeah,
He's
that's
machine.
Yeah, and this is like the thing I have with people like being on Twitter and trying to have brilliant, amazing points, and you're like, they just think of the one principle that applies. You go, you've clocked it. There are some similarities. Well done. It is not the totality of the problem.
Congratulations, you are acting like a fucking GPT.
Yeah.
The first thing that you have reduced yourself to being predictive text. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's actually the problem with just like typing out your default thoughts. I've started, hang on a second. It's like thinking about how a GPT works and how like anything I've seen chat GPT, right? Immediately I'm just like, that's bollocks. You're like, oh yeah, because it's just predictive text. Where were we? Yeah. That's a whole other discussion.
You know, you can buy blank trophies in your local supermarket and print your name on it. Not in my fucking local supermarket. I don't know what's in your supermarket, but I know what you mean. Yeah, you can just go get it. Just go get a trophy. I am the best at everything. That's it. Number one. So you're playing hockey and you realize how many trophies people have earned before you start playing and think to yourself, since these are unobtainable, I'm just not going to bother playing anymore. If you think like that, you have an actual genuine problem, like a full on.
This person doesn't exist.
I will. What? I will. I mean, no. That person. No, this person does exist.
What?
This person does exist. They're the people who are like amateur artists and go to Twitter and see insane artists and get like put off doing any further because like I will never catch up. And it's like if you let that actually control your thought, that is. Like, I don't want to be, my first thought was, mental illness and but I didn't.
My first thought is, sorry, into the recycler you go.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't mean that in a derogatory term because I think, I think being discouraged when you see people better, especially when like they're either younger or the same age, whatever. And it's like, comparison is the thief of joy. That's what I'm trying to say. Comparison is the thief of joy. So like, there are people who do think that way and go, well, I will never be that good.
Oh, there's just, just like little, I'm the fucking center of everything. Woe is me fucking selfishness that I think that's rooted in.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I could see that in some cases. I don't think in totality. I think there's definitely just
true.
People,
not in totality.
I can just see people go, well, because they're not thinking that way. It's just like a feeling of, oh, fuck, that person's way better shit.
I guess that's things like I want to be an amazing artist versus I want to do art.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, like you can't completely entirely separate the two because you need to be like see progress in yourself and be satisfied and stuff like that along. But yeah, it's fundamentally, it's like, yeah, people do feel that way and it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not good. That's the word I'll use. It's a bit like that's a problem. You shouldn't think that like that. You should be able to overcome that negative thought and just go on ahead because that's the point. Do stuff. So what else? Despite previous players who earned it. What?
Oh.
What?
When people are so adamant and excited about an old man being given to them for free so they can forget they have it in a week because it has no meaning is doing any positive to the game other than allowing them despite previous players. I think it's just a way for them to spend tender and for Blizzard to get some engagement.
Yeah, and to get
it ain't more deep.
It's just a mind, like it's a number.
I want to understand why players are so adamant about an old man being given to others that the older players themselves probably forgot about, or how it was even a game gatekeeping new players. The man the positives of the game other than allowing them to rub new players' faces.
Yeah, so I don't think anyone choose the Kor'kron Warwolf. It's just people shitling.
Age discrimination.
Oh, this one's fun, yeah.
Wait, what?
If I was older, I'd have had these things.
What?
Yeah.
Age discrimination. Wow.
I think that's a joke. But
Okay.
then Vinricky goes, tough, I'm sure you'll live. Reverse this, they're releasing OTC mounts for tendies. Tough, I'm sure you'll live. Damn, you got me. I hope you go fully down my grab roll. My achievements page gets filled out completely. Not my fault I wasn't born with the patience to... Okay, so that's literally... Here's the thing. Fuck you. Here's the reverse. And then completely changes entirely moves the goalpost massively. Changes it, everything. Hoping the Again, people taking like principles and seeing one shared property and driving it to the next like extreme. And you're like, yeah. So with some... I didn't realize he understood. With some of the logic being used.
Yeah.
Not all of the logic being used.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's applied the big word. Some.
Yeah, there you go. Some. Yeah. Yeah, with some of the logic, you might as well add unique titles. But no, that's not the conversation been had. That's not the conversation been had whatsoever. Very good. Oh, the boosting communities. How have they gotten involved?
But that doesn't.
If this was the first agency mount, it's going to open the floodgates to the others. Then nobody will want to try for things in current time.
Ever.
Meaning the boosting community is dead.
Nobody. Ever.
Bro.
Never going to happen.
They can kill boosting by giving out AOTC mounts. Fucking right, dude. Easy.
Amazing.
Easy, crap. You should have charged Blizzard for this advice. Doesn't this actively reduce the incentive to log into the game when things just become available for money? Yes.
Yep.
That's what boosting does that, by the way.
Yeah.
The point is it's a precedent. No, it's not. It is, but it also isn't. It's like if this one was.
I'd say the point is the precedent. No, the point is the precedent.
Yeah. If this was well received, what's stopping them doing more recent ones?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Their own discretion.
Yeah. Or CM gear mounts. Nothing but their own discretion. Or mythic mounts. Their own discretion, or PvP rewards, their own discretion. It's that case of not actually believing there's any decision making going on whatsoever.
I think a part of it is to do with binary or cumulative. So you can quickly boost yourself ahead of the curve. That's binary. However, gladiator mount, you're just going to have to do a lot of PvP. Cumulative. Doing all of the challenge modes in MOP or WOD, cumulative. So I would accept a sort of binary and not rock hard. I would be sort of more okay with that. But something that required cumulative effort when it was hard. For me, that's where the distinction is. Another thing would be... say Ashes of Alar or Invincible. I think with those things, because for so many people, they are a cumulative effort thing. And yes,
even
somebody can get it.
Probabilities.
Yeah. Sure, someone getting their third thing. But like the point is most people actually do, they do a lot. And I feel like if you then just have that be there for 1,000 tender, that kind of really undercuts that.
Yeah.
In a way that I think is bad. Like if everyone just has Ashes of Alar because they spent 800 tendies versus all of the people who, maybe for years on and off have been farming it, I just think that's a bit fucked. I mean, in that I think it's just bad game design. And I think the bit
it's
here that
reward psychology, right?
Yeah, see that's the bit. I think so much of all of this stuff is driven by I want, me, or gatekeeping. This is problematic. This is apartheid.
Oh, we went there yet? Yeah.
No, it's remember okay, right. I blamed Deus Ex Mankind Divided. But it's like so much of this is it's almost as if access to this mount or not is like a social justice issue or something. It's not really
it's talked about in the same language.
Yeah, it is. It's the expansion of some of this language beyond its initial scope to the point then where it's like, no, we're trying to have a game design discussion. What here is good design, medium, short, long term. That's the discussion that we should be having, but because it involves rewards and reward psychology, it then gets polluted by personal incentives. And in a way, this is why there are some aspects of fan feedback that are more pure than others.
That's the problem with a lot of this. You go, well, can you, I think actually a pretty good example there is obviously if I were to go full psychoanalysis on this, I would look and see Vinricky's responses is being terrified that what if PvP, the thing he lives for, is taken out underneath him? Which is fair. Why on earth would he ever be worried about that? yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, it makes sense to be worried and afraid, but that 100,000 billion%, because they could just cancel at any point.
But it's just we have all of these vicious mounts and 3 PvPers. How about we just think about what they get from a vicious mount right now, and think about that in the Tendy store for just raw engagement.
Yeah, or just throw it in the store for 50p. Yeah, so I get that being the fear of network, and that's the case of the Glad stuff is probably one of the best cases of they just made a system which is here is being good, you rewarded for being good. That is it. There you go, you're sorted. So I can see why you'd be worried about that. And that's why I wouldn't be worried, because it's so obvious, it's so apparent. I kind of trust Blizzard to not be really dumb and breaking these precedents like that. So I think that, but also, yeah, you were saying about the like incentives. It's really hard to get decent feedback on this because everyone's just like, what about me? But what about me?
And it's on social media, so there's like a, minus 50 IQ sort of modifier being placed on everyone.
Yeah, and they don't even go, what about me? Intentionally. It's just that's the natural modality of thought because that's what you're doing. Especially as a social media person who's just a normal punter. Like,
I think it's a very easy principle here. The Kor'kron Warwolf should be, and I know this certainly disagrees with some of our Warcraft team. I don't think that the Kor'kron Warwolf should be in the store because
why would it be?
Yeah, why would it be? I'm not against there being a wolf mount inspired by it. Or a different tint of it, or something like that. But I feel like if you're going to say this is a prestige reward that you get for doing this thing, then no, you've put that fucking flagpole in the sand. And, I don't do Gladiator. I don't get to have a Gladiator mount, even though I think it looks cool. Oh no! Won't someone think of me and my suffering, Matt? They've gate-kept a mount away from me. This is anti-Irish racism.
Sure is. What isn't there now? That's an interesting question.
It's like, oh my God, come off it.
Yeah, we've got an interesting question. Would you be in favor of it being a reward in a time-walking heroic raid, says Travis. So they say, here's the original reward for doing the original content. It's roughly, we've scaled the difficulty to roughly be what we expected it to be back in the day.
I mean, that's more okay. That's more okay. I mean, ideally, make another, an unused tint or something.
Yeah, that would be the ideal version,
Yeah.
Yeah, because then if anyone complains, then they're probably complaining because their goal is to have the number out of number be closer to full, which is not possible with how the game actually orients itself design-wise by having time-limited rewards. You can't get mount completion unless you've done everything as it was there. And that's the way the game literally works.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of there we go.
There we go.
We've solved the problem.
Have we?
I don't know.
I mean, to be honest,
was there a problem? Well, I mean, we go back to the start of this, and we find out that there was actually never any problem whatsoever.
Yeah. So
we just ran around in circles.
Did the right thing.
I'll leave it at that. So
it's not updated. It's not updated.